Hey guys, so today on Geeky Baker Baking, I, Labbit, Master Sous Chef, am going to be explaining how to make modeling chocolate, which is much more delicious and easier to use for modeling purposes than fondant, which is not so good. So the first thing you're going to need is some light corn syrup. Don't get the heavy kind or the dark kind, get the light kind. Oh yeah. Next, you're going to need some type of microwave proof container, and you're also going to need any flavor of Wilton's melting chocolates or any type of melting chocolate, candy chocolate that you want. It's going to be delicious. Trust me, guys. Okay, so thanks, Labbit, I guess. Why don't you just run along and I'll finish this off for everybody. Okay, so when you're making modeling chocolate, the best ratio is going to be 1 to 3, and that's 1 ounce of corn syrup to 3 ounces of melting chocolate. So you're going to melt that in the microwave on bursts of 10 to 15 seconds on high. Take it out, stir it. Like we've already talked about, this is going to melt the best when it's agitated. So slow heat is the key. So I start by putting my melting wafers. Candy melts, you can find them by lots of different names, but they a lot of times look like this little chip. They melt really, really nicely. So you're going to put that into the microwave for 10 seconds. You're going to take it out and stir it. Another 10 seconds. Take it out and stir it. It's not going to look like it's melting right away, but eventually, trust me, it's going to come together into a really smooth, dippable chocolate. Now this is after 6 10-second bursts, and you can see it's starting to get melty. But remember that chocolate melts best when it melts slowly and when it's agitated. So these are going to look like they haven't started melting, but they really have. So you have to mix this. Why go so slow? Because chocolate, if it's heated too quickly, will seize and burn, and the cocoa butter will separate from the cocoa solids, and then it's a mess, and you have to start completely over. Now, after 2 more 10-second bursts, you can see that it is starting to get melty. Whip it good. Okay, you want to keep it moving. I'm going to go for probably 2 more 10-second bursts. Now, the next part of this is going to move really fast. So you want to have prepared a plastic bag, kind of turned in over on itself so it will stand up on its own, ready to receive your modeling chocolate. You also want to have your chocolate completely melted and liquefied. And then you want to have your glucose syrup, also known as light corn syrup, and you're going to want to have that slightly warmed, maybe 5 seconds in the microwave. Now I'm using 9 ounces of chocolate and 3 ounces of corn syrup for that 1 to 3 ratio. 1 ounce of corn syrup for every 3 ounces of melting wafers. Okay, are you ready for the fun? Now you're going to pour your corn syrup in to your chocolate, and what this is going to do is it's going to force that chocolate to seize, which is what we didn't want to happen earlier, but now we do because it's a more controlled environment. I got most of that off. So what you're going to do is you are going to mix, 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 mix. Just fold it in over itself. It's not going to look like it's doing anything right away, but you can already see it's starting to get thicker, a little bit harder. Oh man, look at that texture change. It's causing that to seize up, and it's turning it into a Play-Doh kind of consistency. Now, once it gets to this point where it's pulling away from the sides, you're going to bring your bowl over. This is why we prop that open. You're going to pour that in. Now remember, this is still hot chocolate, so you need to be careful. Get as much of that out as you possibly can. And because I am impatient. I like to spread this out. And you are going to leave this for a minimum of 2 hours. Then when you take this out, it's going to be ready to mold into little shapes or little letters, anything that you would like. I've used this for lettering, I've used it for decorations, I've made all kinds of little animals out of it. Basically, think of this like chocolate Play-Doh, and it tastes great. You can't cover cakes with this. It just doesn't have the structure that fondant does, but you can cut this out and put it on cupcakes, little coverings for cupcakes. It is great stuff. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Geeky Baker Basics. Have a great day. Guys, you don't need all that, do you? Some for Labbit. Maybe all.